In the golden age of the Sriwijaya Empire, where mighty kings ruled the seas and trade routes of Southeast Asia, a legendary weapon was said to have been forged, a keris unlike any other. The origins of Keris Naga Sriwijaya are shrouded in myth. Some say it was crafted by a mystical empu, sacred blacksmith, who had received visions from the gods. It was forged in the heart of Mount Dempo, a sacred mountain believed to be the dwelling place of spiritual beings. Others claim that the blade was bestowed upon the first great king of Sriwijaya by the gods themselves, ensuring that his rule would be blessed and unchallenged. The keris was named Naga because of the intricate golden dragon carving that coiled around its hilt, representing strength, wisdom, and the ability to command both land and sea. Legends tell that the blade held supernatural powers, able to detect enemies, protect its wielder from harm, and even strike down foes without being drawn from its sheath. The weapon was said to be indestructible, never rusting or dulling, a sign of its divine origin. This sacred blade would be passed down through generations, carried only by the most powerful rulers of Sriwijaya. It was a mark of the rightful king, and to hold it was to hold the fate of the empire itself. The first recorded wielder of Keris Naga Sriwijaya was none other than Dapunta Hyang Sri Jayanasa, the founder of the Sriwijaya Empire. When he led his great naval expedition known as the Siddhayatra, to expand Sriwijaya's power, the sacred keris was by his side. It is said that before every battle, he would raise the blade toward the sky, and the winds would shift in his favor, ensuring victory. Under his rule, Sriwijaya became the dominant force in Southeast Asia, controlling the crucial trade routes between India and China. His soldiers believed that as long as Keris Naga was in the hands of their king, the empire would never fall. The weapon became more than just a symbol. It became a talisman of invincibility. According to ancient stories, during an ambush by rebel forces, Dapunta Hyang was protected by the power of the keris. When his enemies tried to strike him down, their weapons shattered upon contact with an invisible force. The sight of this miracle terrified his foes, who then surrendered without further bloodshed. As Dapunta Hyang's reign came to an end, the keris was passed on to his successors, each of whom relied on its power to maintain Sriwijaya's dominance. But with each new king, the blade's legend only grew stronger. During the reign of Trilokya Raja, Malibhusana Warmadewa, Sriwijaya stood at the height of its power. The empire controlled vast territories, from the Malay Peninsula to the coasts of Sumatra and beyond. Its navy was unmatched, and its ports were filled with traders from India, China, and the Middle East. The people of Sriwijaya believed that as long as their rulers held Keris Naga Sriwijaya, the empire would remain invincible. But power attracts enemies. The kingdom of Medang, located in central Java, had long been a regional power. Under the rule of Dharmawangsa, Medang sought to challenge Sriwijaya's dominance over the seas. The Javanese king launched a bold military campaign, hoping to weaken Sriwijaya and take control of its lucrative trade routes. Sriwijaya dismissed Medang's attacks as minor disruptions. Their navy had repelled many challengers before, and few believed that a land-based kingdom like Medang could pose a real threat. However, as the attacks became more frequent and Medang's forces began targeting key trading centers, Trilokya Raja realized that this was no ordinary conflict. Knowing that the fate of the empire was at stake, the Sriwijayan king sought guidance from Keris Naga Sriwijaya. It is said that on the night before he launched his counterattack, he entered a deep meditation, holding the keris tightly in his hands. A vision came to him, one of fire, storm, and shattered ships. Some say he saw a great storm consuming the enemy fleet, while others claim he saw the destruction of Medang itself. Whatever the truth, the king took the vision as a sign that victory was within reach, but only if he used the keris wisely. With renewed determination, Trilokya Raja ordered his fleet to prepare for one of the largest naval battles in Sriwijaya's history. He knew that the coming war would not just determine the fate of Sriwijaya, it would decide who ruled the seas of Southeast Asia. The battle between Sriwijaya and Medang took place in the waters of the Java Sea, where both empires fought for dominance. Medang's fleet, though smaller than Sriwijaya's, was well-trained and equipped with powerful warships. Under Dharmawangsa's command, the Javanese navy used new naval strategies, attempting to break through Sriwijaya's defensive formations. But Trilokya Raja was not just a king, he was a warrior, chosen by fate to wield the sacred blade. As the battle raged on, he stood at the helm of his flagship, gripping Keris Naga Sriwijaya. The weapon seemed to hum with energy, as if sensing the tension of battle. According to legend, at the peak of the fight, Trilokya Raja raised the keris high above his head and uttered an ancient incantation passed down by his ancestors. The sky, which had been clear moments before, suddenly darkened with storm clouds. The winds grew fierce, and the waves began to rise. Some say that the Keris had summoned the storm, bending nature itself to the will of its master. As the storm raged, Medang's fleet was thrown into chaos. Huge waves crashed against their ships, and many were swallowed by the sea. Sriwijayan sailors who had fought under the protection of the Keris for generations held their ground, using the storm to their advantage. Within hours, Medang's navy was shattered, its survivors retreating in fear. With this victory, Raja secured Sriwijaya's control over the region, proving once again that no force could challenge the empire as long as Keris Naga Sriwijaya remained in the hands of a rightful king. But while Sriwijaya celebrated, Dharmawangsa was not finished. The Javanese king, humiliated by his defeat, plotted in secret. He knew that as long as the Sriwijayan kings held their sacred blade, they would always hold the advantage. So he turned to a darker strategy, not one of open war, but of betrayal and treachery. As Sriwijaya entered what seemed to be its strongest era, shadows loomed on the horizon, threatening both the empire and its most sacred weapon. After the disastrous naval defeat, Dharmawangsa of Medang was consumed with rage and desperation. His attempt to overthrow Sriwijaya had failed, and his fleet lay at the bottom of the Java Sea. But he refused to accept defeat. Dharmawangsa devised a secret plan. He sent spies and diplomats disguised as envoys of peace, hoping to learn the secrets of Sriwijaya's defenses. Meanwhile, he formed alliances with smaller kingdoms that resented Sriwijaya's dominance, fueling rebellion from within the empire. His most dangerous scheme involved Keris Naga Sriwijaya itself. He had learned from captured Sriwijayan prisoners that the Keris was not just a weapon, it was the heart of the empire, the symbol of the rightful ruler. If the Keris could be stolen or destroyed, it would shake the faith of Sriwijaya's people and weaken their belief in their divine protection. Some say Dharmawangsa even sought black magic practitioners to find a way to neutralize the Keris' power. But fate had other plans. Before he could enact his final attack, Medang suffered a devastating betrayal. The kingdom of Luaram, one of its own vassal states, turned against Dharmawangsa, launching a surprise attack on his capital. The once mighty Medang was burned to the ground, and Dharmawangsa himself was slain. As Medang fell, Raja stood victorious. Sriwijaya had not only defended itself, but had outlasted its greatest rival. It seemed that Keris Naga Sriwijaya had once again proven its legendary power, ensuring the empire's survival. But peace was not eternal. Though Raja had won, the world was changing. New threats loomed on the horizon, and the fate of the sacred Keris was about to take a mysterious and tragic turn. For decades after the fall of Medang, Sriwijaya remained the dominant power of the seas, its influence stretching across the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra and beyond. The empire's wealth, its monasteries, and its grand cities became legendary, drawing traders and scholars from distant lands. And at the heart of it all was Keris Naga Sriwijaya. But the peace would not last. In the 11th century, a new enemy emerged, the Chola dynasty of South India. The Cholas, led by the ambitious Rajendra Chola I, were expanding their empire and saw Sriwijaya as a powerful but vulnerable target. They launched a sudden and devastating naval invasion, attacking Sriwijaya's ports, looting its treasures, and capturing many of its royal family members. The invasion shattered Sriwijaya's stability, marking the beginning of the empire's decline. But the greatest mystery of all was the fate of Keris Naga Sriwijaya. Some say that during the chaos, the sacred Keris was taken by the Chola invaders, carried off as a war trophy to India, where it was hidden away among their own royal relics. Others believe that the last Sriwijayan king, knowing that defeat was inevitable, entrusted the Keris to a loyal guardian who fled deep into the jungles of Sumatra, hiding it from the world. Another legend claims that when Sriwijaya fell, the Keris disappeared into the sea, just as it had once commanded the waves to rise against Medang. The blade, bound to the fate of the empire, could no longer remain in the hands of mortals. It would only resurface when a new ruler, worthy of Sriwijaya's legacy, arose to reclaim it. To this day, the location of Keris Naga Sriwijaya remains unknown. Many have searched for it, hoping to uncover one of the greatest lost treasures of Southeast Asia. Some claim it lies buried beneath the ruins of Palembang, Sriwijaya's ancient capital. Others believe that it remains hidden in a secret temple, protected by monks who still keep the legacy of the empire alive. But whether the Keris is truly lost, or simply waiting for the right moment to return, remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries.